To me, honestly, it's just like when I think about my story, when I think back to everything, and I have a documentary out, and so when I take a look back at all the breaks that I need to have and all the people I need to run into at the right time and the way they help me, it's just a big miracle all the way through. I think that's why I have a different perspective in terms of going through this path and seeing how much God has done in my life, because I knew there were many times where I personally even wanted to quit, or I personally didn't think it would happen, or I doubted myself or lost complete confidence in myself. And even in those situations, things happened for me to kind of get back on my feet.
New York, make some noise. New York, make some noise.
What do you remember most about that game?
Look who's coming in. Jeremy Lin, and you hear a pretty big ovation.
I remember everything, really.
Lin flips it up and puts it in. Jeremy Lin once again.
I remember sleeping on Landry's couch the night before. I remember my agent telling me, you might get cut after this game.
Lin getting once again, second consecutive game, some important first half minutes.
I remember eating at Papaya Dog for my pregame meal and taking a taxi to the game. I remember all the little things.
There's Lin, just active and aggressive alley-oop to Chandler. Oh, beautiful pass from Lin. And Jeremy Lin continues to excite this crowd.
The game itself, I remember in the first half going into the locker room thinking, man, I did a really good job. I had like 6 points, 4 assists at halftime, thinking I'm really good. My career high at the time was 12, so I'm already halfway there. Like 6 points was a lot for me back then.
Pressure, driving to the basket, does it again. He's already played more minutes tonight than in any other game.
Then in the second half, I still remember everything, and I was getting to my right, and they were saying make him go left, and then they started trying to go under the screens, and then I hit it 2 jumpers.
Jeremy Lin knocks it down, career high 15, and the Knicks take the lead.
In my mind, at that time, I had no confidence in my jumper, but when those 2 went down, I was like, man, I think I can do something special tonight.
A magical night for Jeremy Lin. He's the hero from Harvard as the Knicks get a much-needed victory on the game of his life. And he is scorned by his ecstatic teammates and a jubilant crowd here at Madison Square Garden.
After the game, in the shower, just overwhelmed with emotion, just because it was like, I remember thinking they can't cut me anymore. The deadline was coming up, and I remember my family waiting for me. I remember calling my agent. He was yelling at me on the phone, just happy, and we went out to eat together, me and my family afterwards, and it was just a special, special time. I basically picked up a basketball when I was 5, and I can't really remember any point in time where I wasn't in love with the game. My dad was the one, he loved basketball. He didn't know much about it, or he didn't know how to play like that well just because he didn't grow up with it. It's something that he was introduced to after he kind of came to the U.S. And then growing up, I just played with him and my brothers basically hours on end every day. So growing up, actually, we didn't really have TV for financial reasons. And so basically every year when the playoffs would come on, we would order the TV for that 2-3 month stretch. They just wanted to see me happy, really, and they knew basketball made me happy, so they just wanted to see me happy and to play and to have fun on the court. We didn't know it was going to turn into this. We didn't know everything that was going to happen along the way. So now, as we're all going through it as a family, we're kind of appreciating everything more and more every year.
So, and you talked about Jeremy Lin's play earlier, Paul, and he's definitely helped your endorsement that you gave him here early in the game.
It's one of the best guards I've seen all year, if not the best.
In high school, I would just play. I'd play all the time. I'd play on 3-4 teams, as many teams as I could. And I never actually thought I would realistically play in college or in the pros. I just never even thought about the next level, just because I just kind of assumed that I wouldn't be able to play there. Until my high school coach, beginning of my junior year, basically said like, hey, I think you should consider at least going for it. You know, and back then I was really raw, really skinny and short. You add the Asian immigrant family onto it, and it's just not a path that is normally talked about. There was no calls. It was me going to all these schools, asking them to give me a chance. When I played in college, it was the same thing. I never really thought I would legitimately be an NBA player or a professional player. You know, my first year, I averaged like 3-4 points a game. And it wasn't until my senior year when I had like a really good year and a few breakout games that people started to take notice. And I started to even believe in myself, like, hey, I think I might be able to play as a pro one day.
Mash out, mash out.
I remember I was on a conference call right before I signed I had my family, I had my agents, I had the people that work for me. There was like 11 of us on this call together to really talk about where I should sign. And if you had asked us that like 24 hours earlier, one, it would not have been unanimous, and two, I don't even think most people would have suggested me to come here. But after that call and after everything that went through the way it did, all 11 people said, I think you should go to Brooklyn. You know, I just turned 28, and this is my 7th season, but 6th team. So finally to have some stability is what I wanted out of this year's free agency. I actually care about my home now because I know I'm going to be there longer than like 7 months. You know, I'm doing research on this community, you know, Brooklyn, and you know, what are they going through as a community, and you know, there's gentrification issues and all different things. Like, I just want to make this like my home. I want to invest in them, and I want to invest in this team, the city, and just be a big part of it, because that's just something that I haven't had and something I've really missed.